Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to walk through the entire experience of dining out. From the moment you step through the door to that final thank you. This is your guide to handling any restaurant with total confidence, so you can just relax and have a great meal. We've all been there, right? You walk into a restaurant, someone greets you, and suddenly your mind just goes blank. What am I supposed to say? How do I ask for a table? It can feel a little intimidating, but I promise you, by the end of this, you'll have all the right phrases for every single step. So we're going to treat this like a little journey. We'll start with arriving, then we'll get into ordering, cover what happens during the meal, and finally, we'll wrap up with how to handle the bill. It's a super clear path from start to finish. All right, first things first. You've made it to the restaurant. That first person you're going to talk to is usually the host or hostess, right at the entrance. Let's make that first hello a really smooth one. Honestly, this first part is just 3 super simple steps. Just say a quick hello, tell them how many people you have with you, and then let them know if you have a reservation. That's literally all there is to it. This phrase is your absolute best friend. It's simple, it's clear, and you can just swap out the number for your group, a table for 1 or a table for 4. And adding that little please at the end, it just makes everything sound friendly and polite. Now the host might ask, do you have a reservation? All that means is you called ahead to save a spot. If you do have one, you just say, yes, it's under the name. If you don't, a simple no, I don't is perfect. No big deal. And hey, don't forget, you can totally have a preference for where you sit. If you see a cozy booth or maybe a table with a nice view, you can absolutely ask for it. You don't always have to take the first table they show you. Here's the perfect way to ask. So polite. You could also ask for a quiet table, or maybe a booth if you have one available. As long as you ask nicely, most restaurants will try their best to make it happen for you. Okay, so you're seated and the menu is in your hands. Now comes the main event, ordering your food. This can feel like the trickiest part for a lot of people, but trust me, it gets so much easier once you know how a menu is usually laid out. You'll find that most menus follow a pretty similar map. You'll have your appetizers, those are the small dishes to get you started. Then you have the main courses, which are kind of a star of the show. You might see side dishes you can add on, and of course, you'll have your drinks and desserts. Knowing this structure makes any menu way less confusing. Listen, this happens all the time. You see a word you don't recognize or a dish you've never even heard of. Whatever you do, don't just guess. It is perfectly okay. In fact, it's expected to just ask your server for some help. This is such a great, direct way to ask. You could also ask for their opinion, like, what do you recommend? Or maybe ask about the taste, like, is this dish spicy? Remember, your server's job is to help you enjoy your meal, so fire away with those questions. So once you've made your decision, go ahead and close your menu. That's actually a little signal to the server that you're ready to order. When they come back, just make eye contact, give a little smile, and tell them what you'd like. The most important things are just to be clear and polite. This is the classic way to order. You can start with I'll have or I would like, and then just say the name of the dish. And you know it by now, finishing with please is always a nice touch. Okay, the order is in and the food has arrived. So what now? Well, the meal itself has its own little set of interactions. Let's take a look at how to handle those smoothly. A few minutes after you get your food, your server will probably swing by and ask something like, how's everything tasting? This is just a standard check-in to make sure you're happy with your food. If it's all good, this is the perfect response. It's positive, it's quick, and it lets your server know you're all set. And hey, if your mouth is full, a simple smile and a thumbs up works just as well. Now, this is a really important one. If your food is cold, or maybe it's not what you ordered, you should absolutely say something. The restaurant wants you to have a good experience. The key is just to be calm and respectful when you point out the problem. This is a fantastic example of how to say it. You start politely with, excuse me, you state the specific problem clearly, and then you ask for a solution. This approach is direct, it's respectful, and it gets the issue solved without any awkwardness. All right, you've finished an amazing meal. It's time for the final step, paying. This involves a few key phrases and also some customs that can change depending on where you are in the world. This is a really handy tip to keep in your back pocket. While pretty much everyone will understand both terms, using the local word just makes things a little smoother. So, in the UK, you'll ask for the bill, but in the US, it's the check.
And another huge one is the tip or gratuity. In some countries, like the United States, tipping isn't just a nice thing to do, it's a really important part of the server's income. But in other places, a service charge might already be included, or tipping just isn't customary. It's always a good idea to know the local custom.
So let's just recap those final steps. First, get your server's attention and ask for the bill or check. It's always a good idea to give it a quick look to make sure it's accurate. Then, figure out how you're paying. And finally, a warm thank you on your way out is just the perfect way to end the experience. And that pretty much brings us to the end of our guide. So think about it for a sec. What's one new phrase you're going to try the next time you eat out? Maybe you'll ask for that window seat or ask your server for a recommendation. The goal is just to take one small step. Because with these phrases in your toolkit, you are more than ready to go out and enjoy any dining experience that comes your way.